YouTube. Make sure we showing. I don't see nothing, man. Y'all see it on here? I don't know why it beat my phone. I don't know what. No, because if I did, okay. All right.
I see it.
All right. I don't see nothing, man. Y'all see it on here? I don't know my phone. Hold on. Let me read it. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm finna share my screen. Then we'll get started. And then I'll share. Mute y'all mic, please.
Man in the full knowledge of himself is a superb and supreme creature of creation. When man becomes knowledge of himself, he becomes master of his environment and captain of his own ship, the director of his own destiny, the accomplisher of his own ends. Man should understand himself because man is full of knowledge, and this knowledge is a gift of nature. When Mother Nature created him of nothing, he was given the faculty of understanding all things around him. This faculty for understanding has not been taken away from him. None of his senses have been taken away from him. So there is no excuse for the black man. I'm bridging my team, red, black, and green, queens and kings, salute, now scream, I say, bring purple under it, I say. I'm ripping my team, red, black, and green, queen and king, salute, now scream, I say, bring purple under it, I say.
I say. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and we'll get back into it. Hold on 1 second. All right. Stop sharing. I want to say ETM Hotel, Dua Aku, Dua Necha, Rini Kofi Piesie, well, Fatmu Alafie, Fatmu Iwa Pele, Igun, Majube Ibai, Igungun Kiki, Igungun. I always want to give honor and praises to the ancestors, because without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. We are our ancestors. Welcome back to Kofi Piesie TV. Please like, share the show. Please tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend about the show. We're gonna have another great build today. We supposed to have two other brothers that were supposed to be on the platform, on the panel today. T'Challa Bangara, which had a family emergency, which I talked about. Which I told y'all on Massey Warrior Clan, and we supposed to have ASAR Ka on the panel tonight, but due to some other things that he wasn't gonna be able to make it. So he'll make part 4. He's on part 1 and part 2. Today we got myself, VYASA NICCOLO GULLAH, SETEPENRE MERI and ASAR Ka. And I may do something a little different. I may throw somebody else on the panel. May get a link to somebody else later on and get on the panel, and they maybe can go in and elaborate on a few things or discuss something on good character, more ethics, and more values. Before we get started, I'm gonna let my brothers speak if they got anything to say.
ETM Hotel, Rennie Sean. Welcome in peace. My name is Sean. I'd like to thank everybody for having me on the panel this evening. Thanks for everybody listening in and tuning in to the conversation. I'm gonna try to be as brief as possible, as well as the other brothers, so we can build on the topic after the case. And look forward to a very knowledgeable show. And I hope you guys appreciate Volume 3.
Peace. It's your brother, SETEPENRE MERI, short for Setep. I'm a little under the weather for real. Kofi got me working under these conditions. Nah, but yeah, man, I hope y'all enjoy this show. Good character, more ethics. We're gonna be coming from an African perspective, so hope y'all enjoy it. I'm gonna pass it over to my brother VYASA.
Peace, everybody in the chat and on the panel. I know it's going to be a good presentation. I hope everybody enjoys it. And I'm going to go back to mute so we can get everything going. And hopefully I can make it through this one without getting one of them famous $50 fines from my brother Sean, because I'm busted at the moment.
Yeah, he will give you a fine. He will. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and lock it on you, brother Sean. And again, shout out to everybody in the chat. Let me shout out everybody in the chat. I done went away from I went away from it, but peace, Sister Lisa, peace, Kyla Sykes, peace, I Am Africa, peace, Jerome Towns, peace, brother Sutek Haru, Alafia. Please like the show, share the show. Again, tell a friend and tell a friend. As Sean get ready to set up, I'll go ahead and start. I'm gonna share in a few links. Let everybody know that we live. I'm gonna lock it on you, Sean.
All right.
All right.
You got me locked in?
Yeah, you locked in. I'm gonna go to mute.
All right. So again, man, good character, more ethics, and more values, part 3. This is a discussion series with brother Kofi Piesie, myself, ASAR T'Challa, NICCOLO VYASA, and SETEPENRE MERI. Amen. All right. So we're gonna dive right into it, and I'm gonna break the ice here. So I want to pull from, before I really get into my conversation, I want to pull from the Ma'at Guiding Principles of World Living by University of Kemet Press, page 447. I want to just read a few lines before I actually get into my bill. It says, faults to avoid. Do not fill your heart with the desire for the goods of others, but rather concern yourself with what you have built up yourself. Stand on your own merit, lay your own temple stone by stone. If you want your conduct to be good, deliver yourself from all evil. Fight greed in your heart on all occasions. Greed is the serious illness of the incurable. Curing it is impossible. Greed spreads unhappiness among mothers and fathers and among the brothers of the mother. It divides husband and wife. Greed is a reunion for all sorts of evil. It is like a sect that contains everything that is hateful. Stay away from those who are imprisoned by it. Do not repeat a slanderous rumor. Do not listen to it. A good name is not repaired easily. Damage to character is damage to life and living. Years go into making a body of life's work. So handle gossip with care. Let a slanderous rumor be thrown on the dust heap. Do not speak about it. Talk when facts are true and truths are facts. Excuse me. So I just want y'all to marinate on what I just said, and I'm gonna get into the conversation real quick so I can be brief so we can learn from my other brothers on the panel. I got this here out of the Holy Odu, page 274. It says, rebirth leads to transformation, and weakness leads to conflict. This Odu, and I apologize for the E being on there, tells us to follow the wisdom of Ifa. This person is going through tough times, but with Igbo will achieve wealth. Igbo to end poverty must walk in good character at all times. It warns against laziness and having the wrong friends and ignorance. Associate not with a passionate man, nor approach him for conversations. Leap not to cleave to such a one, that terror carry thee not away. That's Amino, chapter 10. Be on your guard against all who are subordinate to you. Trust no brother, know no friend, make no intimates. Instructions, I'm in heaven. All conduct should be so straight that you can measure it with a plumb line. Maximus Patah Hotel, line 27. Those are my sources for this particular conversation. Now, I want to elaborate on the things that I just read to you. by giving you an example of a standard that I believe that we should hold other people to, including myself. I am not exempt from what I am saying, as I merely only want to try to drive home a point of an infectious disease that is among the numerous of us. And we have avoided holding people to these certain standards. Okay? Now, this is a conversation that actually took place in my inbox on November the 7th, one evening. It says, and I'm not going to tell y'all about who, because I'm going to get to the point at the end. After the 4 things that I actually read, they all speak to the identity of the self, the person's character, improving one's ability. All of these things that are personal and that are things that we can pull from and elaborate on. If you need me to go back, I can go back to it, but I don't want to be long-winded here. I spoke enough today. It says, and this was sent to me, and I'm going to bleep out certain words. You bleep N-word for kicking me off, and I was being quiet. WTF wrong with you? You let this N-word drill your effing teammate for 15 minutes. All I wanted to do was ask her if she saw a GD word ghost. That's it. As soon as I open my mouth, it's a problem. F you. You bleep N-word. You will not be posting in no streams or Facebook groups. I will block your bleep you D-riding faggot. This was sent to me because someone was disrespectful from the jump. The energy was off, and that wasn't the conversation for what had actually taken place. And so what I did was remove it before it really became bigger than what it was. Now I'm going to continue. And here's my reply. I do not give a bleep. You still cussing and arguing, bro. That show wasn't about that bull. For the record, nobody drilled me. I wouldn't let nobody disrespect you or raise up on you. And then he replies, I was asking such and such a effing question, and all effing hell broke loose. Female dog. He calling me a female dog. I ain't cursed at this N-word, talking about the person that he was interrupting, or call him nothing, you fag. N-word, F you. And then I reply, no, you was at such and such, bro. And then he replies, you B word, N word. I said such and such. Did you see a ghost? And that B word, Biggs, kept talking over me. That's what FOH, you fag. Look at you. You was at such and such, you B word, N word. Look at you for another N word. You a fag. And then my response, emotional thugs all need hugs. I don't say anything after that because the bees, the female dogs, the N words, and all of a sudden the female genital area hurls out in the next few comments. Why am I even sharing this with y'all? Because if we are supposed to be a community of like-minded individuals who claim consciousness, this cannot continue. And even though this is a private discourse on based on that person's merit, this person also has done that on public posts elsewhere. And people who watch these exchanges merely look over those exchanges and still gravitate toward these particular people who are disrespectful, who show bad character, who initiate bad discourse and create bad learning experiences for people. Now, I get questioning information and want to get to the truth or to put things through methods to prove if they are real or fake and so on and so forth. But like I told you guys before, if we are going to hold someone to a standard, myself included, then uh, these type of problems cannot grow legs or exist in the community where we are all after the same thing. It does us a disservice as a people to allow this to continue to operate and everyone sweeps it under the rug because they like the personality of this particular person or because they're on this particular side of the argument. That's not displaying good character or moral ethics. That is not standing on any principle of our ancestors and their teachings. That is not the African way to act and to um, converse with your brother or sister in that particular manner. I get your frustration. I get it, and I understand not everybody is going to adhere to having good character and moral ethics. But if we are putting these people on notice from the gate that we can't have that particular person acting this way, then that person has been served a notice, not once by one person or twice by another person, but by a gang of people, because we have to weed out this behavior as it is a problem. It is a detriment to the to the masses. You know, if we're supposed to be conscious and we're supposed to be growing through the knowledge, then let it be about the knowledge. But when you get personal and you start making threats, talking about you're gonna slap someone, because I can go up further where threats were made. When I see you, I'm gonna slap you. You beat. Like, who are you to talk to another man like this? I have 3 kids. This person ain't got no kids. You know what I mean? What does that look like if my kids see an exchange like that on social media or in a video where they're watching a video thinking they're learning, then all of a sudden something disrespectful pops off, and then it's no longer a learning experience. It's a problem. And then you hear the whole thing about the disrespect. Now, I'm going to end here because Kofi's about to go in and he's going to elaborate on some things that I actually mentioned. But I want y'all to really consider and think about what I just said and a few slides that I showed. If you need to go back in this video, in the future, go back in the video and pause each slide. There's wisdom in the 4 slides that I actually shown. And, that's how we rocking like that, Kofi. I yield the floor, man. I'm good.
On my screen, Saber Awujal on the panel. Saber Awujal, you got anything to say? I'm just to the folks. I know you just jumped in. I'm just saying if you just wanted to speak real quick and then elaborate later on. I know you just jumped in discussion.
No, I just want to say peace, to the panel and to the viewers and listeners. So no, because I just jumped in, then I rather keep quiet and listen in before I say anything.
All right. All right, I'm gonna share my screen. Give me just a second. Hold on. All right. Okay. Is it showing on the other end, y'all? On YouTube?
Two.
Okay, I don't know why it's saying like.
Click it off my screen, Kofi. You're gonna have to unshare, click it off me, and then click it back on.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that, y'all. All right. Reshare. All right. I see it showing back there now. Again, oh, hold on. Let me do this. All right. And again, everybody, you know, we this is part 3 of good character, moral ethics, and moral values, part 3. As we promised, we were going to try to continue this topic, you know, at least once a month. If we would, you know, we said maybe twice or once a month. So we're gonna try to continue this once a month. So again, this is part 3 of good character, moral ethics, and moral values. And again, this is a discussion slash presentation. And me, I always have to put a disclaimer out there before I get started. I am not a teacher, but merely a student sharing information. And that information provided is for the educational purpose only. And if you are in doubt, do the research and have it verified by someone qualified. I reserve the right to change the focus of this presentation, shut down, sell, or exchange the terms, or use at my own discretion. All trademark, design rights, copyrights, registrars, names, mottos, logos, avatar, the signals, and marks used or cited by this website or by the property of their respective owners. I reserve the right to add information as it comes available or adapt to changes, improve information as it comes available in the future. Inputs wanted, changes, addition, deletions are encouraged. So I have no problem with my information being critiqued. I have no problem with adding on information or taking away information if it's inaccurate or incorrect, which also has something to do with good character. And we're going to get into that as well. Everybody that follows me knows that I love this saying here. It's a powerful saying to me. As I learn, we all learn. I'm going to start off first with morality and character comes before intellect. And this is by Yahara Aneb. I use this same thing, but I screenshot brother Sanjetti's post on the last one I did. So I just had I screenshot it, but today I just put it in a what's the name, and I'm gonna continue with this series, the drill this or keep putting this slide up because this is a powerful slide to me. Morality and character comes before intellect. And just speaking for myself personally, I don't care how intelligent, how smart another individual may be. If this individual possesses bad character, has no type of moral ethics, no type of moral values, I can't listen to it. That's why I don't look at a lot of YouTube videos because of the bad character. The person can be super intelligent, but if he doesn't possess any type of good character, I'm not going to listen to it. And Sean presented a slide a while ago that was powerful to me, that touched me, about removing, in some instances, I'm paraphrasing, removing yourself from the evilness or removing yourself from the badness. What was that slide that you had up where it was, they're basically saying don't be involved or entertain anything, any type of foolishness, chaos, anybody with bad behavior, remove yourself from that. What was that slide saying, Sean?
Yeah. It says rebirth leads to transformation, or weakness leads to conflict. This Odu tells us to follow wisdom of Ifa. This person is going through tough times, but with Igbo will achieve wealth. Igbo to end poverty. must walk in good character at all times. It warns against laziness, having the wrong friends, and ignorance. You talking about that?
Nah, it was another
Okay.
one. You was
Associate not with a passionate man, nor approach him for
right.
conversation. Leap not to cleave to such a one, that terror carry thee not away. Ameno, chapter 10.
Yeah. So, again, like I said, you can be the smartest person in the world. If you don't possess good character, I'm not gonna pay you no attention. I'm not gonna be around you. I'm not gonna tune in. And that's just what I do in my everyday life. I have no friends beside these individuals on the panel. All right, good character. Now I want to talk about what is encompassed or what follows in good character. And a lot of you may heard of some of these things before doing I did, and I'm particular with good character. And a lot of my presentations, I always talk about good character. If you go back and look at the my EY Pele and Ori Tutu video, I kind of covered these things a little bit. If you go look at my Keterby presentation, where these group of ethnic African groups in East Africa deals with, they believe in acknowledging other people being, acknowledging your existence. So their culture is involved in different greetings, you know what I'm saying, in acknowledging people beings, you know what I'm saying, being neighborly and generosity. So this is what in case or follow, this is what in case good character, kingship, kindness, hospitality, generosity, polite, gentleman, humanitarian, morality, and neighborly. These are some of the things that follow up under the umbrella of good character. And a lot of these things that I see in the chaos community is no thing of kinship. We don't show any types of kingship. You know what I'm saying? Kindness. I don't see that a lot in the chaos community. Hospitality. I don't see a lot of that. Generosity. I do see some polite. I don't see a lot of that. Being gentlemen. We don't do that toward each other. Being a humanitarian or even being neighborly. So these are some of the things that follow up under good character. All right. Olo Luwabi, before I go any further. Olo Luwabi is a Yoruba word. It means good person, morals, polite, a gentleman, polite, humanitarian, and morality. So this is what a Omo Luwabi, this is what they will call someone who has more character, someone who has good character, Omo Luwabi. Now, I know a few Omo Luwabis or who I would be considered a Omo Luwabi. And I only and it's probably more, but these people just came to my mind instantly when I said, well, I wanted to share, who I thought was Omo Luwabis. So I'm gonna show up just 3 slides of individuals' names that instantly came that set the example for me, that I try to always set that same type of example or that same type of standard and the same type of patience that they have with other individuals in the community. And these are some individuals that I respect, you know what I'm saying? And they are an Omo Luwabi to me. And you can go and look at the numerous videos that they have done, and you can see that these guys are good persons. You can see that these guys exhibit good character. You can see that these guys are very patient and polite with other people, and they set that standard. And I wish every other individual, I wish that everybody else would follow these types of standards that are setting, you know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't mind for my kids sitting down and listening to some of their bills. A lot of them I can't, in the chaos community, I can't let my kids listen to a lot of the stuff that goes on in what we call the conscious community. One of the Omo Luwabis that I consider Omo Luwabi that instantly came to my mind was Sanjeti. I done had a personal conversation with Sanjeti. He done had a conversation with us in the Seshu group. I done, the message him and tell him that I appreciate the standard that he set for as exhibiting good character. So Sanjeti is a Omo Luwabi to me, a good person, a person who has more ethics, more values, who I can look up to, my kids can look up to. Here is another Omo Luwabi. This is someone I hope to meet one day. I never had a conversation with this individual here, but a lot of people that know me know that I respect Baba Smalls. He is a Omo Luwabi, and the videos that I have seen, he has conducted himself in the proper manner at all times, and that is exhibiting good character. So Baba Smalls, James Smalls, is a Omo Luwabi to me. Another brother, he's looking Rico Suave. I was trying to get another picture but this is Saber Wujao. Saber Wujao, he's on the panel as well, but he's a Omo Luwabi to me. I met Saber whoosh 2005 uh when I first took this session manager class, and ever since then he has exhibited himself since I known him or was it 2004, whichever one. He has exhibited himself with good character, more ethics, and more values. Uh, and every presentation or every build that he have, even though people may get antagonize him or put false accusations or whatever, this brother here is always exhibiting good character. So Saber Wuja is a Omo Luwabi. So I just wanted to put those three guys up there because they came to my mind instant. And there may be some other ones that I know and may have conversated with, but these was the three off the rip, off the top that came to my mind. All right. This here, I'm gonna keep doing this in every presentation as well. KED, going over some of the terms. KED, which means form, nature, reputation, character, disposition, extent, which is from Kemet. KED, which means to build or to fashion. And we know that when we're talking about a lot of the ethnic groups in Africa and those different countries, a lot of the traditions is based around cultivating or building good character. And I talked about that in numerous of different other ethnic groups in Africa, whether it was in South America, East Africa, North Africa, South Africa, and West Africa. We have covered all those areas so far, and most of those cultures deal with building, what I'm saying, and cultivating good character. Ked Nefer, which means good character. Agua Omo, good character from the Igbo. Suban or Subang Pa from the Akan people in Ghana. Uh, Lokili, uh, uh, Lokilingi is, if I'm pronouncing it right, good character from the Loso in the south of Zimbabwe. Iwa Pele, which we talk about a lot with the Yoruba people in Nigeria, good character. Iwa also means customs and the traditions, the traditional way of life. You know what I'm saying? And again, good character is rooted in the culture, fashioning or building or cultivating good character. And a lot of their traditions is based on good character. A lot of the festivals, a lot of the ceremonies, and especially with the masquerades. Uh, Nebdu, Kedu, evil slash bad, bad of character. Those shoot, those of bad character. I got those of bad character. Excuse the typo. Iwa Baruru. We talk about this a lot. This is also a Yoruba word which means bad character. Isfet, wrong, wrongdoing, falsehood, crime, or chaos, which comes from Kemet. Uh Basworo, bad character. Losoto, this is from southern Zimbabwe. So I just want to throw out some other terms from other different cultures, uh, how to pronounce good character, bad character. The first part one, I actually went through the Igbo culture. I went through the Akan culture in Ghana. I went through the Yoruba culture in Nigeria, and I broke down what do they entail of what good character is and what bad character is, and especially with the Akan and the Yoruba people, they believe that everybody is a human being. You know what I'm saying? But everybody is not a person. In order to be a person or be recognized as a person in society, you have to exhibit good character. So if you want to go back and look at that part one, I break those down: the Igbo, the Ghana, and the Yoruba culture. I go through that. I go through what they particularly deal with good character, what they considered bad character, and so forth. All right, I want to go back you know, and I ain't gonna be too long-winded. Just go back real quick. In the sum of religion and moral traditions are varied throughout history. There are also ethnic and cultural entities created by population around the world in their own image and interest. Ma'at is the oldest moral tradition on the world history and basic of all world religions and philosophies. It is indigenous to Africa. Black populations created it. It's again, black populations created it. Again, black populations created. Again, black populations created. Again, black populations created, nurtured it, and lived by it. Nurtured it and lived by it. Nurtured it and lived by it. Morality, ethics, and virtues place the highest values on the individual's conduct in life, treated in it as a basic in which one will judge in the next life. In time, these principles ordered to the social lives of Africans who settled along the 4,144-mile Nile River. Morals and ethics, means of Ma'at, cosmology, rebirth, right living, right thoughts, justice, balance, judgments, reincarnation, and the journey of the soul. Ceremonies of worship, initiation, meditation, funeral rites. Symbolism. Africans in the ancient Kemet kneel to prayer, meditation daily and nightly, lived Ma'at, kept their fast, gave services to the community, gave percentages to the poor, and made pilgrimage to Waset, now Karnak or Luxor, the center of Kemet civilization. This was the minimum, Ma'at. The ancient Remech moral system survived for thousands of years. Over that time, re-envisions were made to moral texts. The power of certain moral principle waxed and waned. Some were combined, some ever fell completely out of favor. Yet, out of all the ancient systems of morality, survived a basic belief that good and moral life on earth is a major means of obtaining an afterlife, and a concept that reflects in the most modern religions. I wanted to go over those few slides dealing with Kemet because it says that it is the oldest. When we talk about the oldest moral system, it says that it comes from out of Kemet. We created the system. We nurtured the system. We lived by the system. And not only in Kemet, you know, as I stated, you got other ethnic groups in Africa that's their culture is centered around cultivating and building good character. And for those that may not have good character or didn't exhibit good character in a society, they did certain things to those people in the society. One was exiling them out of the community. Another one was putting on certain masquerades. Certain masquerades deal with invoking the ancestors, where the ancestors would come back and reevaluate and relay the law according to the traditions. I'm just telling you according to some of the traditions. They will come back and reiterate the laws to those that may have lost those moral laws that they have set forth in their society. Ma'at principles created in ancient Africa, Kemet was the first and the most developed traditions of morality and ethics in the world history. They were founded on cardinal virtues that permeate the culture for thousands of years. The moral education documented are called sabiats, from the verb saba, to teach, to instruct, to learn. These sabiats were distilled into the Ma'at way of life, a higher concept of truth, justice, righteousness, and all levels of ancient Kemet societies. The literal productions of the philosophical traditions, the scientific traditions, the moral traditions from the African civilization stretch over 43 centuries. The unique facets of the ethnic portions of the systems and thoughts or practical guidance was invented 2,500 years before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. So these moral principles, they saying that it was created before we even get to those concepts, those moral concepts of those three major Western religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Now going back, and I'm about to wrap it up. learn from our mistakes, it is important to be able to admit your mistakes, learn from them, and move from forward with the intent to not make the same mistakes again. Seize every opportunity to learn from our mistakes. From doing so will make you stronger and better able to solve problems. The opposite of the problem is solution. And a lot of times we can't, because we have bad character. We have bad character. We can't learn from our mistakes, or we can't even admit to our mistakes. And again, a lot of things been going on in our community, in the social community right now, and a lot of people I see it can't admit when they make mistakes. They cannot admit when they make mistakes. They can't say, okay, I made a mistake. I can learn from this mistake. I can learn from this person, because the inaccuracy of the mistake that I made, that is bad character to me. When learning from corrections, mistakes, use a solution opposite of the problem to prevent the same mistakes from happening in the future. For example, if you feel the urge to talk negatively about one person to another, you use self-restraint. That means don't do it. When you solve each other problem or urge with its opposite, as a time goes by, you get better at matching the appropriate solution based on your inner resource to any situation that arises. Later, your behavior becomes less conscious and more nature. We got to stop talking about people behind their back. We got to learn some type of restraints. Even when another person, I'm not going to sit here and let another person talk about another person when that person is not here. I'm not going to even entertain it. I'm just not going to entertain it. So again, we just have to learn from our mistakes. We have to move on from our mistakes. We have to learn from our mistakes. This is a characteristic of good character. We have to humble ourselves sometimes, and I have no problem if I make a mistake or make an error. I have no problem with doing it. I have already did that live already one time before, because I don't confess to know everything. You know what I'm saying? I am a student that is still learning. And incident on the Amin Ra squad, I made a mistake. Few other brothers was thinking the same way with me, for as the concept of reincarnation, and African cultures don't deal with coming back as a rock, as a fossil, as a frog, as a toad, as etc. I know specifically dealing with the Yoruba culture, they don't believe in coming back as something else, or in the Ghana culture, or in the culture in Burkina Faso, a lot of those cultures deal with you come back as you don't come back as a toad, you don't come back as a frog, you don't come back as a leaf, you don't come back as a tree, you don't come back as a rock. But I learned something that the Zulu people do. The Zulu people in South Africa, they do, their reincarnation concept is the same concept as what we'll see in the Hindu tradition. So I don't have a problem with, what I'm saying, making a mistake and saying I made a mistake. All right, Africans, and I'm done. Africans, Africa, Africans must go back to their own culture sources, seek their own systems of right and wrong, and practice their own morality. Examples. Brother Sean gave a couple of examples earlier with a few of his slides. He gave you the where he got his information from, the instructions of Kagemi, the teachings from the Maxim of Ptah, and we part one and part two. We talked about the teachings from the King Maxims of Ptah. Even if you go back to the Seshuma Ani Metaneta channel, we even go over the maxims of Matah. We talked about good character on there maybe 2 years ago, if I ain't mistaken. The instructions of Amenhotep, the instructions of Harjet, if I'm pronouncing it right, lawless teachings, the instructions of Amenhotep, the tales and courts of kings Seneferu, Khufu, and Khafre, the kings of Neferah and the general Senset, the elegant peasant, the story of Senhu, the tales of the shipwrecked sailor, the quarrels of Apep and Sequinian, and I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. taking up Joppa, the tales of the two brothers, the pyramid text, the KHALFANI text, and there are a few other things. So these are some things that you actually can go back and study, things dealing with our own culture, that's dealing with right and wrong and the practices of morals and moral ethics. These are my references here that I had. The Ma'at Guiding Principles of Moral Living by Ifa Kilimanjaro, which is a PhD. Takai Kilimanjaro, PhD. Yahara Aneb, which I use quote on, which is a powerful quote to me. And Tigamba Huru, which is an elder. The Encyclopedia of African Religion by Moluf Kente Ashante, and Defining the Souls on the Path of the Rishas by the West African Spiritual Tradition by Told Maureen Correa. I'm start sharing my screen. All right. I'm gonna lock my screen on use a tip.
All right. Let me start sharing. All right, can you see it?
See it. Make sure we can see it. Oh yeah, it's sharing now. You good on the other end too.
All right, so I pulled this out of a book. I'll show the reference at the end. Let's see. African ethical principles and moral codes regulate the lives of individuals and the community before the advent of colonialism and missionary activities in Africa. Law and order, stability, and social harmony were maintained and preserved through a strict adherence to an observance of the normative ethical principles. So it's basically stating that we had morals and principles before the colonialism happened. Before the white man came into Africa, we was already moral, ethical, and we had a set rules and principles about ourselves as African people. African peoples have a deep sense of right and wrong. This moral sense has produced customs, rules, laws, traditions, and taboos which can be observed in each African society, I should say. This implies that African traditional ethics predate the coming of Europeans to Africa. Ethics and the sense of ideas of morality in Africa were not the creation of the Europeans and Christian missionaries. So as y'all can see, this excerpt out of the book is dealing with Europeans trying to say that they came and civilized Africans. We was already civilized. They didn't come civilize nothing. Tradition and customs in African society define the various aspects of human behavior and social activities that were approved and those aspects that were prohibited and forbidden. All the moral codes of morality were nearly in the form of prohibition, which were sanctioned by the deities and ancestral spirits. This accounts for why many scholars hold the view that African ethics and morality is derived from traditional religion. Oh, excuse me. I got one more slide. I slid this in because this was a little powerful one as well. Every community, towns, and villages in Africa had a system of morals which were preserved in their customs and traditions. There is no society in Africa that has no set of do's and don'ts. A society that has no norms or ethical, intelligible way of ascertaining and enforcing good conduct is bound to disappear in the short or the long run. That right there is powerful. So it's basically stating that if you don't have any morals, any ethics, any values, you ain't gonna last long at all. You may have a little run, but you ain't gonna last long. And that comes from Ozumba, 1995, page 55. And here is this is from another source. This is from another book, but Here's my source for the first 3 slides right here. Traditional Ethics and Social Order, a Study in African Philosophy. Sorry to be so quick, Kofi, but my throat hurt.
Yeah, you good. You good. You good. I'm gonna jump to brother VYASA, and then we'll build a little bit afterward. Just get the information out there and then build.
Okay, this is my first time doing it without my headphones. Can I be heard?
Yeah, you good.
Okay,
Hold on, let me make sure you good. Okay, yeah, you sharing.
Okay.
Well, hold on, we don't see your slide no more, boss.
Hold on, I'm looking at my phone. I see it getting ready. Did it cut it off when I went to play?
It came up and then it went off.
I hope I don't have to keep it this way to where I can't full screen it. Let me try again.
I see that you're on the Mac, and what's going to happen is when you push play to go full screen, when you shared it within the Google Hangout, you have to choose share your whole desktop instead of just the particular Keynote app.
So I should just keep it in the app?
No, Sam, when you go to share your screen for on the Google side, you have to choose share the entire desktop.
Okay, I don't know where that would be.
It's gonna be on there when you share your screen. When you go, like on my end, it say present or present to all. So if I want to present to all, I hit present to all. Or most time I just hit present. But you can, I guess the Max is a little bit different. So when you go to your function to share the screen, it's gonna show it. Like if I share my screen right now, I'm gonna share it real quick.
Okay, I see
it's gonna say
share, and then I see a control room. I apologize about this, y'all.
It's just a matter of which one you choose, because you can choose the individual app or you can choose to share your whole desktop.
Oh, I see what you're talking about, desktop.
Yeah, okay. You got to do the desktop if you're going to share full screen. Yeah, there you go. So now when you hit play to go full screen, it'll still show.
Let's see. Are we there now?
Yep, there you go.
Okay. Let me first, I just have to do it, Sean. I have to. As another father and brother, let me start off by apologizing that you had to deal with what you introduced into the conversation, because I know that has to be frustrating and testing at times as you pursue to do so much good. So I apologize that you had to share such an experience. And now I'll get into my build, and hopefully I can do as good as the other brothers did. Does your morality and ethics install dignity in others, demonstrating obedience, trust, and familyhood? And I shared this picture because I wanted to add in some humor. I don't have to read it. Y'all know where that's from. I don't think people really appreciate the idea that as we become good characters, you can still be your own individual character and experience life to the maximum capabilities of what life has to offer. But it's more about how you go about this experience that we call life. And we can have fun. We can be loving. It's okay to get mad. It's okay to experience emotions, but control those emotions. Don't let those emotions control you along the way, and just make proper decisions. And my main focus on this, I put this together literally as we was building today. So y'all have to apologize with me or about what's going on. Dignity. Your actions should install a sense of honor, worth, purpose, making one feel privileged to know you or be a part of a village. Compliments are needed just as much as critiques. Not everyone deserves a golden sticker, but all deserve to know that they are capable of earning that golden sticker. And your critique should be done solely to reinforce this idea and demonstrate dignity and establish dignity in a dignified way. It's all about making pride. And I've shared this on all of the presentations on ethics so far, but I haven't actually put the slide in. And I wanted to do it again. A king is merely a slave of great responsibilities, but the man who handles his responsibilities is labeled a great king. We've romanticized the idea that a king is to be worshipped and should be showered with gifts. That is no king, or even a man for that matter. A king is the one who gives his last for his people and praises them. He gives them strength and never enforces the idea that he holds all power. That is egotistical and childish, and will be the downfall of his kingdom. A king is humble, and he knows without his people there is no pride. A king knows that if he forces any to bow before his feet, he will not hear the whispers to destroy him. So he bows before his people, and they freely cheer words that honor him. A good king seeks wisdom of life, a fool seeks chaos and destruction. A king forces no one to follow him. Instead, he protects their path. A king does not force you to be anything, instead teaches you that you can be anything, and will only ask, what do you plan to be? Hopefully a servant of the people and labeled a great king. Demonstrate obedience. I wanted us to be able to talk about something that I see, at least on my timeline, and I've seen within homes that I've been in. I don't think too many of us have took the time to understand there's a difference between discipline and punishment, at least from the way I view it. We'll hear, my child did this and I had to discipline them. But what they really are saying, I had to punish them, and the discipline is never being installed. We'll hear about a child being punished for not cleaning their room and call it discipline, but how many take the time to install the discipline of knowing what to clean your room and how your room should be cleaned? So I think that's a conversation that we should have presented eventually, knowing the difference in between discipline and punishment. Another discipline that is needed, to listen or to give an ear or follows one's duties, that all falls into obedience. To do these things does not make you less of a person. And we have to get away from that egotistical thinking that no one can tell us what to do and being afraid to listen to others. I like this quote here, and Brother Sean, I hope it gets with you at the moment, especially about what you shared today. One of the truest tests of integrity is its blunt refusal to be compromised, to maintain in good character. That is something that we all have to strive to do within ourselves daily. We're going to get tested. Look at today's times. We're going to be tested by it. And we often see so much bragging that I'm the tough guy, or I'm hood, or you don't know me, and all these other things that just completely negate the idea of us even becoming who we say we are. So I do think obedience is something that we need to get back into. We talk about rites of passages. To have that done, that's exemplifying obedience. It's exemplifying discipline. It's not a punishment. They're exemplifying a form of discipline that creates a lifestyle. And we see what happens when you don't adhere to that lifestyle. That's where punishment comes into play. And that's a totally different conversation, I think, that we should have at a later time. As in all societies of the world, social order and peace are recognized by African peoples as essential and sacred. Where the sense of corporate life is so deep, it is inevitable that solitary of the community must be maintained. Otherwise, there is disintegration and destruction. This order is conceived of primarily in terms of kinships, relationships, and simultaneously produces many situations of tension, since everybody is related to everybody else, and deepens the sense of damage caused by the strain of such tensions. If a person steals a sheep, personal relations are at once involved because the sheep belongs to a member of the corporate body, perhaps to someone who is a father or a brother or a sister or cousin to the thief. As such, it is an offense against the community, and its consequences affect not only the thief, but also the whole body of his relatives. I like this particular paragraph because as we heard throughout the build, there's certain aspects of the social media world that reflects it reflects us and what we're trying to do when certain ones demonstrate bad character, when they demonstrate the ignorance that's being stipulated throughout the community. It almost undoes everything that we are striving to create. I don't necessarily know exactly how to counter that outside of us going within ourselves, of us tightening our relationships with family and continue to try to demonstrate the best of characters that we know how amongst brothers, amongst sisters, and our children. As men, our bravery should always be demonstrated by our character, not our fist. And I love this quote. I'm gonna love this quote to the day I die. It often requires more courage to read some books than it does to fight a battle. And that's just ever so true. And we don't see an appreciation for, I even heard Amos Wilson sit back and say, our greatest resource is not our land and what's taken out of the land. And I'm paraphrasing. Our greatest resources as men, brothers and sisters, our greatest resources is our mind. And if we're not investing in our minds to be the greatest that we can be, then we're not taking advantage of our greatest resource. We talk about gaining land. We talk about gaining schools. We talk about gaining wealth. We also need to talk about reestablishing the mind in the best forms possible to establish the best of characters that we can. So I do like this quote when it comes to that. And I added this one in as the build was going because there's a couple of passages or phrases in here that I really, really like. The instructions of Pepper. Give yourself wholeheartedly to learning. Nothing is more valuable as education. Be serious and act with dignity. Do not broadcast words that should be secret. Speak not hasty while sitting with a person who is belligerent. Do not speak falsely of your background. Avoid unguarded speech. It is good to study many things so you may learn the wisdom of the great. You can educate children as you walk in the footsteps of the wise. Step out on the path of learning. The friends of humankind will accompany you. And I've seen that just within the family that we call the chat room. Me wanting to join the Sabi University. People who've seen me in the chat have offered to pay my way through. That's a beautiful thing to me. And I appreciate that in the highest level. There's no words I can say to truly show how much I appreciate that, because I do go through so much alone. So I appreciate that highly. Praise God for your father and mother for placing you and your children's children on the pathway of the everlasting. And one of the things I've always said, eternity lies through the eyes of children, because it will be the children who carry our name on. So that's something that we also need to hold in mind, that our character of how we act in front of them and how we act in front of the community, that's the gateway to eternity. That's the gateway to not be forgotten. That's the gateway to becoming an ancestor. It's all in our character. Doesn't matter how much wealth we accumulate in our lifetime. It's about what we do as individuals. And this is the end of my presentation, I believe. Yeah, that's the end of it. So I'm gonna go back to mute. I believe you said we may have a discussion, so I'm gonna go back to mute and see how it goes.
Yeah, I want everybody to present, man. A good one. Bro Saber, you got anything you want to say with what you seen us present, or anything that's dealing with, well, we done talked about this so many times about good character. Hold on, let me stop. Why is that thing? Stop sharing your screen, man. It's on me. All right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you good. You good.
Oh yeah. No, hey, listen, I think you all covered a lot, and you're right. We've talked about this quite a bit, uh, um, for a good while. You know, I don't think it's talked about enough, but I do want to say, appreciate you recognizing me as a Omo Luwabi, as you had pointed out. You know, things like that mean a lot, uh, because it's something that you don't like purposely go set out to do, but you just be yourself and you do what you do. And then for people to kind of recognize these things, then you know it's always a blessing. So do I appreciate it. Um, but the only thing really that I have to say is that I think that we have to make having good character cool again, because people have, you know, some people have the impression that having good character is a weakness, and that having good character is, you know, sissified, a weakness, or you know, you're a pushover. Like they're equating good character with being weak and a pushover, and not realizing that having good character is one of the is very very tough. Like it's the opposite, you know. And so that's, I think that has to be stressed more, that aspect of it. And in as far as in Kemet is concerned, you know, having bad character was equated to being a criminal, and so that's how they took it. They took it that serious. The same word for criminal was the same word for having a bad character or having bad disposition with your nature and your behavior. So we have to start looking at it like that, and there's nothing to it. And I think that the social community that we're calling the conscious community, that you said the chaotic community, um, is really really what do you call it? It's like fueling this environment where it's, you know, people are forced, or they feel compelled to have bad character, because bad character, you know, you gotta be ego, like, you know, I can't be wrong, I can't do this. And I think Vasa touched on it, between obedience, discipline, and punishment. And when you really look at those things, punishment, the word that we use for punishment and the word that we use for pain are the same word. They come from the same word, if people are not aware of that. So punishment is really pain. And so when we punish each other or our children, you know, in terms of raising our children, there's supposed to be discipline that comes with it. Like, you know, you're never supposed to punish your children without the discipline being attached to it, because the discipline is the same word as disciple, um, and it ties into teaching. So if your child does something wrong or is out of character, you know, the pain is the physical covenant of the discipline that's supposed to come with it. So in other words, the pain signifies and solidifies the lesson. So when parents punish their children and bring pain on them, you know, beat them, whip them, whatever, however they do it, if they don't include a lesson in that, then it's going to be for nothing. And we have to just be careful. I know, you know, I'm a parent of three. I got three daughters, and I know children are not born with instruction manuals and stuff like that. But this is where our the village, you know, the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. You know, the wisdom of people who came before us, who had children before us, they are our instruction manuals. Because when we have our first child, that's fresh, that's brand new for the parents. You know, no instruction manual pops out first. So, you know, we have to understand these lessons. And I think if we get back into that and stress family, familyhood, as I think one of you all already said, that it will start to, it's not going to be overnight fix, because how we got here like this today, with all our complaints about whatever, it didn't happen overnight. So therefore the solution is not going to happen overnight. So what we can do is slow that train down bring it to a stop, and then start to reverse it. And so that's going to take time, but I think it starts individual, by people working on their own character and just relaxing and keeping their ego in check. Don't allow the dog to walk you. You're supposed to walk the dog, and the dog being analogous to the ego. And so you keep your ego in check. Everybody has an ego, but you're supposed to keep it in check. And you can't do it alone. People who have this mentality of being solo or I'm me, I'm my own person, I can do what I say and stuff like that. That sounds good, but that's not the way that life is designed. We come into the world solo, unless you're a twin or whatever, but we come into the world solo and we leave solo. But while we're here, part of our life experience is supposed to be communal. And so what communal does to join an organization or a team or whatever, it starts with the family, of course, but by being that and cultivating that, it reduces the narcissism that what we call narcissism today. This is anti-narcissist when you join a team, because when you join a team or you're responsible for something or someone, now you become aware of consequence. Every action that you do, everything you say will affect something or someone else. And by being part of an organization or team or whatever, all of that's in the forefront as opposed to in the background, and you become numb to it, and then you become self-centered and narcissist. So I think that those are the things that we really got to work on in the conscious community. So that's all I really had to add to what you all already built on.
Okay. Anybody else got anything, man? We ain't gonna be here on too much longer.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on two more things if I can. One I shared with Setep before, but I don't think we was live when we talked about it. I'll get to that one secondly. But as we was building and we was talking about discipline and slowing down time, I want people to take this in consideration. We live in a time where social media is guiding the youth. And something that we commonly hear is, my block game is strong. I'll block anybody. I can block, I can block, I can block. Well, they can't distinguish the difference in between blocking somebody in an artificial realm and reality. And we can't block the conflicts that we are going to face in reality. And for anybody who doesn't understand this, we know that the cemetery is constantly being full, the hospital is constantly being full, and the penitentiaries are constantly being filled with people not understanding how to deal with conflict. So we need to show conflict resolution more openly and as greater authoritative figures as men and women. That's going to be a key component to what we're facing in the future. And on the parenting aspect, one of the things I like to say, I hope people can walk with me on this. You was to take your hands and cuff them over each other, but not let palms touch, and just imagine that you had a ball or anything floating in between. That's how I think our approach to parenting should be, to where it's hands over instead of hands on. Because all of us as individuals, we want our individuality to always be established. Children want the same thing. They are individuals. And we're not against being guided, but we are against being forced. So if we take a hands-over approach, the idea is we are the mechanism that will protect them from bumping into the wall or falling. Before they can do either one of those things, they will fall into our hands, and then we can guide them back in the right direction. I don't want to get too long-winded, Kofi. You know how I can get. So I'll go back to mute and stop myself before I get a $50 fine.
Yeah, you gonna be up there with Wu Jiao in a minute. You all right? No, I'm just kidding with you. You good? Anybody in the chat got any questions? For us,
Hold on, man. Before you ask the chat anything, let's get this straight right now for the record. This is the second time that you have antagonized Saber Wujawu. Third, because I don't even want to go back and say the one thing that you said the other day. Now, Saber, you is on the panel. Kofi said he is going to go buy you a trophy that's gonna have a microphone and a headset on it, and it's gonna say MVP for the most talkative. I forgot what he said. What is it gonna say, Kofi?
Oh, no.
Nah, don't get shot now. You got your little purple spot in your head trying to get your King Tut fade on. Don't get shot.
Oh no, it's coming. He gonna get it. He gonna get it. Probably gonna have some lungs and wind, the microphone. It's gonna have some stuff. He gonna like it. He
Nah,
gonna like it.
hey, listen. Hey, Sean, wait till, you know, cause Christmas is coming, right? You know, the holiday season. You know, we don't celebrate. I'm gonna give Kofi a Christmas gift, and y'all gonna see it. I'm gonna post it.
You got yours covered too. You got yours covered. Yeah. But anybody in the chat, man, got anything for us, man? We want to try to keep the show, you know, an hour and a half. We've been on a little bit over an hour. Now we want to try to keep it a hour and a half. I'm trying to look and see if anybody got any questions. I never. Purple King. I don't see anybody got anything in the chat. When was the 4 years considered my country? Before we knew. Nah, anybody got in the chats. And anybody got anything else, man, before I end the live stream?
Nah, man, beautiful bill.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty good bill too, man. And continue to look forward for part 4, which will be in January. We're gonna continue to try to do it. You know, I know we spoke on the getting the I don't know what we call the VYASA, man. We was gonna do with the women. I tried to work on that. I don't want people to think I was lying and just saying something. I tried to get the.
I don't think we had a name for it. It was just more or less of the statement of good character has no gender.
Yeah,
and we
yeah.
Off of that it's not a gender biased thing. That good character is simply good character.
Yeah, so we wanted to get the perspective from the female. So we had a powerful little lineup.
I thought it was the one presentation that you did, and you was gonna let the ladies get a perspective on it.
Yeah, that's what it was gonna be. It was gonna be this.
What I'm talking about?
Huh?
You know what I'm talking
about? Yeah, you better keep acting lost. You better act lost on that one. Setep wrong for that.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm gonna be lost. I don't know what.
It's the female mutilation presentation. You're supposed to let the ladies go in on that, bruh.
Nah, I'm done with that. You can get some other man to do that. I presented. I presented information. It's jam packed with information. They can go check it out on the Master Warrior Clan. But LeBaris Nelson will not be, or Kofi Piesie will not be touching the subject of anything dealing with a female and something to their body parts. It won't be happening with me no more. But like I said, we had to put the information out there. We put the information out there. We're not a biased group of people. We put the information out there, whether it's good or whether it's biased. So nobody can say, nobody on this panel, nobody in the session, nobody in the Mosque, they can say that are biased individuals and are romanticize Africa. We give you the good and we give you the bad. We touch on all topics. And like I said, you can go through the archives on Kofi Piesie TV, this channel here, Masi, the Seshu. We give the good and we give the bad. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Next week we'll be back at the same time at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Brother VYASA will be doing a presentation. We're trying to continue to keep the information flowing. The Masi at 2 p.m. And Kofi Piesie at 6 p.m. We're trying to continue to share information and bring you some good information. Hopefully some good information, because we were putting in some hard work to continue to share this information. So next week on the Master Warrior Clan channel at 2 p.m. I'll be presenting. Sean presented today the Black Boat. If you missed that presentation, that was a powerful presentation on the Mossy. Go back and check that presentation out. I guarantee you'll learn something that you didn't know about. Again, it's called the Black Vote. It was on the Mossy today. It was presented by our good brother HERIT, SHAWN KHALFANI. Next week on the Mossy, I'll be doing. If you hadn't checked out, Welcome to the Omo Valley with the Cotterill people. I did a presentation on that a while back. Some extensive information before we even got to the Cairo people on the Omo Valley. First Homo safe. They said it first Homo sapien found. I went through the different Hanamid stages, the Homo stages, and then we went to the Cotterill people and explained how artistic these Cairo people is, how long they've been here. So I said I was going to do a series because you have so many different ethnic groups in the Omo Valley. So I'll be back doing another welcome back to the Omo Valley with the Hamara people. So we'll be talking about the Hamara people. I think y'all will be excited. I'm gonna give a lot of visuals, a lot of pictures, a lot of information. And again, it's gonna be some information in there that you may not agree with. But again, like I said, we give you the good and we give you the bad. Because even with the Cairo people, is a beautiful group. But it's something that I didn't agree with that they did, and that I don't agree with, and most other people wouldn't agree with. But like I said, we give you the good and the biased. We unbiased. We're not gonna romanticize something, and we're not gonna leave any information. We're gonna touch on all of it. So tune in at 2 p.m. on the Massa Warrior Clan channel next week for that presentation. Again, welcome back to the Omo Valley with the Hamara people. And then we'll be back here at 2 p.m. Not 2 p.m., but 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And Brother VYASA, NICCOLO GULLAH will be presenting. What's the name of your presentation? Because you already, with the 16th is coming, brother. You already told us, brother.
I want to do one on African concepts of time, which is it's going to be hard to build on because there's not a lot of material for me to find, but hopefully y'all will see where I'm going with it, and I do a good enough job to give the show justice.
All right. So our brother NICCOLO will be back with his presentation on the African concept time. I hope y'all appreciate the information that we've been bringing. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. We appreciate y'all for taking time out, you know what I'm saying, to rock out, you know what I'm saying, and even listen to what we have to say. So again, I want to say Dual. I want to say Madupe. I want to say Mariri. I appreciate all the brothers that's on the panel. These brothers are my family. We are a family unit. So I appreciate them for joining the panel. And every time we do Kofi Piesie TV, you can always see these good brothers on the panel. So again, we'll see y'all next week at the same time. Peace.